Listen. Tonight is episode 12. Our favorite mystery. Mysteries of the beginnings to a love. Tonight I want to touch the lamb slain. We're going to look at mysteries in the word. You know, man of God, I've been at this series for almost this whole year. And I'm touching things. Now, listen. Just to know that the scriptures are working. Make sure Revelations 13:8 is there. Then we are going to get there. Now, you have to understand something. When I say to touch the pre-Adamic mysteries, okay? These mysteries do not diminish, okay, the conversation of Christ. They only make it bigger. Okay? Many of you in your Genesis, you are only starting from Adam, thinking Adam is the beginning. Okay? But actually Adam isn't the beginning. Jesus is. Okay? So you get to understand that actually your God is bigger. And there are things that we've touched in these episodes using scripture that you look at and you're like, okay, even if you were a doubter, you're wondering, okay, what is happening? Now, look at this. All who dwell on the earth will worship him whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Okay? Now, you have to also ask yourself certain questions. When does Jesus take on the form of lamb? When does that start? Okay? Because we are going to get there. And you will enjoy the word. Say, neighbor, you're going to enjoy the word. Now, do you notice something here? They are saying the foundation of the world. The Greek word there is cosmos. Okay? Now, that is very different from foundation of the earth. This lamb was slain from the foundation of the world. Because some of you think, that's what I'm speaking about. Some of you think, okay, Adam, when he's created, that is the beginning of everything. It is the beginning of Mars. It is the beginning of Pluto. It is the beginning of all the galaxies. You know, I've told you when you look at the galaxies, there are over 200 billion stars and 200 billion planets. Now, when you look at that, where is foundation of the earth? Okay, let's go to Job 38 verse 4. Because I want you to get all these things. Job 38 verse 4. You see, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Now, do you see the difference? Tell me if you have understanding. There is world, cosmos, cosmic, where we get all the stars, all the planets. There is the earth, planet earth. Okay? Are we so far together? So you have to understand and you get some of those things. Okay? Then, in another episode, we discovered that all creatures were registered in Zion. Okay? That is why when you don't study these scriptures, you'll wrestle with the scriptures. You'll fight so hard for what God already did. The scripture speaks about a blotting you out of the Lamb's book of life. Blotting out. Do you know why blotting? Because you already written. Do you get what I'm saying? Most of the things, okay, that we are doing are just new opportunities to choose what already God knows is good for us. Okay. Psalms 87 verse 5. I touched all these scriptures and I gave you more scriptures in more episodes. You need to go back to episode 1. Man, this episode, when you listen to me very well, when you're just starting and you just listen clips, you might say, wow. But you see, when a man has done episodes and series, those many episodes, you're not wise if you argue based on a clip. You understand? You need to give such a man time. They might be knowing more than you know. You understand? Eh? If we decide to argue based on just a kirip, your arguments might end. But I have 12 now. Okay? And of Zion it will be said, this one and that one were born in her. And the Most High himself shall establish her. And I explained all of these things. And I explained to you that spiritually you can be given birth to by your mother. Okay? But if your mother and father didn't know how to connect to the right covenants, okay, you can be given birth to, okay, by Hagar, a slave woman who is Mount Sinai. Paul starts to touch those mysteries. Okay? And the scripture speaks about Jerusalem from above, which is the mother of us all. Okay? So, they get to you to a place where they are saying, and of Zion it will be said, this one and that one were born in her, and the Most High himself shall establish her. Start from verse 4. See something. I told you even creatures, even the bad ones, were born there. I will make mention of Rahab. Now, Rahab here is not the name of the person. This is Rahab before the other person you know called Rahab comes in the picture. Rahab here was a creature. When you go in Isaiah, they speak to you about a creature called Rahab. And I told you, when you look at, should I go there? How some planets like Mars were destroyed. You can understand that there were wars before Adam came. Adam came as a fixer. That's why they are telling him replenish. You understand? Replenish. Subdue. Imagine God creating an earth, and it starts from a form of rebellion that you need to subdue it. You get it, eh? And Jeremiah says it very well. Jeremiah goes back into that time. Message version calls it very well, the pre-Genesis chaos. And the man in a vision is saying, I looked. He was looking at the destruction that was going to come to Judah. But when he looked in the spirit, it looked like pre-Genesis chaos. He says, he looks and the birds of the air were nowhere to be seen. He uses the same words, that the earth had become void and without form. You understand? He sees that. And he was prophesying something that was going to come, but he was using a precedence that he was seeing that had happened in Genesis. You know that much. Jeremiah 4. Okay? So Rahab and Babylon, to those who know me, behold, O Philistia and Tyre with Ethiopia, this one was born there. Even these creatures, before they corrupted themselves, they were born in Zion. Even Lucifer, before he was born. Go on. Go on. We've touched that one. The Lord will record when he registers the peoples, this one was born there. So this registering, okay, is a registration of remembering. Okay, you know when you come to a party, but the party you have to have a certain thing on the wrist for you to get food and all of that. But the party when you get out, there is someone who is what? Very tough on the door. So when you come back and they see something, they say, this one was inside already. So this is the kind of registration. The Lord will record when he registers the peoples, this one was born there. Selah, meaning ponder. Okay? So why is that important? Okay? Because some people say, no, you just need to work hard. It is important because you have to understand that there are certain things that we are not born in Zion. They are hybrids. For example, when angels fell in Genesis, they slept with women. The offsprings they gave birth to are not registered in Zion. You understand? There are things you won't find in heaven. And you see even the symbolism they use, okay, of these things. They are only symbolized in hell. Where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth, where the worm never dies. You're not going to find worms and maggots in heaven. You get it, Because some of you think everything is going to go in heaven. Some of the things you're looking at, house flies, not in their current state. Mosquitoes, in that current state, it is corrupted. You won't find a mosquito that is and you can't enjoy glory. You understand? Though most of the things you have today are corrupted. So there are things that are not recorded in Zion. Okay? The enemy tried to record them in the stars. Okay? But they are not recorded in Zion. I'll give you an example. You know that God never created cancer. Okay? But when you go in your horoscope, one of the constellations is called Cancer. Okay? That is the enemy trying to name. There are many things. Don't expect HIV to come around in heaven. HIV was not born in Zion. It was born on earth. Are we together? So you have to understand that there are things like that. And there are many things that man is still doing. In fact, most of the things you eat today, they are not in their original state. You see, some of you have never seen an original matoke. Some of you have never seen an original popo. Some of you have never seen an original watermelon. If you look at the original ones, they are not so appetizing. Most of these things have been genetically what? Engineered. Are we together? So, foundation is very important. So, there are two words anyway for foundation. The Greek words foundation depend on the context. But the most common one is themelios, okay? Which is a physical foundation, okay? Physical foundation, like the way you form a foundation of a what? Of a house, Someone should be helping me, Banai, there, okay? Then, there is a foundation that refers to conception. You get what I'm saying? So, there is a foundation where the word is katabole. That is the foundation used here. You see, God is saying, okay, go back to our scripture of foundation, Revelation 13:8, who dwell on the earth will worship him whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Foundation of the world is the word from the conception, from the day God decided to form the universe. Okay? That, okay, the Lamb was slain. Now, we are going to touch some deep things, and I need you to follow me very well. Okay? So, foundation again, if they're speaking of foundation of the world, that denotes a timing, right? It denotes time. And I told you that foundation, when the scripture says, if the foundations be out of course, what shall the righteous do? Okay? That has something to do with stars. Okay? Because the stars and the constellations are the determinants of time. I told you, even your watch, this watch, the way it is circle and 12, yeah? It was gotten from the stars, the 12 main constellations. That's where they get that concept. You understand? So, getting out of course, okay? You remember? During the war when Deborah, the prophetess, is praying, okay? The stars fought in their foundation, in their courses against Sisera. So foundation has something to do with time, okay? And when time is messed up with, when your timeline is messed up with, okay? You can go into things that you are not supposed to go into. That is why even the prophetic itself, okay? It is a healer of time, because the prophetic man will either stand in the present and go in the past, or stand in the present and go in the future, okay? It is all important. When he goes in the past, he's a restorer, okay? When he goes in the future, he's a revealer. You understand? So you get all these things and you understand that this is very important, that we know how to heal time, okay? Where is that? I love to give you scriptures. Daniel 7:25. Here they are speaking of the bad guy. The guy who is not Christ. He shall speak pompous words against the Most High, and shall persecute the saints of the Most High, and shall intend to change times and law. To change what? The foundations. You understand? For the earth to be in course, there had to be a time. That is why you hear in the beginning. You understand? That is time. Okay? So once that is changed, foundations are being messed up with. Okay? Then the saints shall be given into his hand for a time and times and half a time. Are we together so far? Now, let's get to this question. When does Jesus become the Lamb? I'm reading the same Bible. Revelation 5:1. Do you love the word? Man, there is a way it does me some way. And I saw in the right hand of him who sat on the throne. Let's read together. A scroll written inside and on the back, sealed with 7 seals. Then I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and to loose its seals?" The angel is worried. Okay? The angel is so strong, but it is what? Go on. And no one in heaven or on the earth or under the earth was able to open the scroll or to look at it. Go on. So I wept much because no one was found worthy to open and read the scroll or to look at it. Go on. Look. But one of the elders said to me, "Do not weep. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah." The what? So Jesus already had that identity of the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Okay? So you would think that they've told him to what? To behold. If he's to behold, he's supposed to see the Lion of the tribe of. Look at what he saw. The root of David has prevailed to open the scroll and to loose its 7. Go on. And I looked. He's now beholding as they've told him. And behold, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 living creatures, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb. He didn't see a lion. They've told him to behold. This lamb is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. For him, when he sees a lamb as though it had been. Are you seeing that? But it is slain in heaven. Is heaven impure? You see, me I go into the mysteries you don't go into. You see, a lamb as though it had been slain. Now it has a weird look. Because if you find a lamb looking like this, having 7 horns and 7 eyes. If we come and you just saw that vision here, you might say, that church, that's a cult. You'll never go back. You don't know what I saw. Having what? 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent out into all the earth. Of course, you know this by Isaiah 11. Okay? The 7 spirits of God. But you see, what you saw in Revelation 13:8, okay? Lamb slain from the foundation of the earth. They are giving it to you here. You see, the scripture explains the scripture. You don't need to go very far when you're trying to learn what the scripture has to say.